everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the Absolute Women's Football Podcast. It was the final week of WSL action. Champions were crowned across Europe. The senior lioness squad was announced, and we also encountered some incredibly awful rebranding. So don't you worry, we're going to cover everything we've mentioned and much, much more. So do stick with us. But of course, I can never do this by myself. How are we all? Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good. Very excited.
And Rosie, everyone's excited that you're back. You're like the unicorn of the pod. You pop up now and again.
I know you guys only watch it because of me, so sorry I'm here tonight.
They do. In fact, normally we get 5 live, but tonight we've got 7,302. So wow. just for you, Rosie, just for you. And I love everyone in the chat. Good evening to you all. Mark wins for earliest comment this evening. 801. Mark was here. Good evening to Emma. Good evening to Matthew. Good evening to Tony. We've then got a lovely little chat amongst everyone. I have starred some people. Emma started it. What time will Team Chaos show up? Will Rosie be in her loft? Hey, Rosie, you're somewhere new.
Well, no, I'm actually in my bedroom, but I've got a new plant. I've got a new window.
A new plant and a new window. Most people paint the walls. You're just like, new window, new plant.
Well, I am going to paint the walls at some point, so enjoy that new branding.
Blue, briny chance.
Okay. Is it going to be blue? Chelsea blue?
Green.
Green?
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Wow.
But blue furniture, so that counts.
Green is Chelsea's 4th kit. So...
So there's still some Chelsea thoughts going on there. We then had people were taking bets on when we'd go live. So Emma 8:33. Rosie's busy doing a match report, so that's going to be the reason for the delay. Tony said 8:35. Actually, I clicked go live at 8:34. So there we go. So all of you were wrong. Good evening to Graham, of course. Evening to Emily and everyone else. Good evening to Muncie Talks. Leeds United women are doing better than the men. Yes, exactly. And they say no one watches women's football. Of course they do, because they're doing so much better. Good evening to Simon, who says, evening all, football sucks. Now,
blue. So
yeah, Paul, we just wanted to take a moment, didn't we? Because our male counterparts, male football counterparts, should we say, they were in their second leg of the playoffs last night, weren't they? It looked for a long time like nothing was actually going to happen. And then unfortunately for you, Dan Ballard did the thing.
That was very call an ambulance, but not for me. Just like, see, I know memes.
Cool kid, you.
Do you know the worst thing? I was sat watching it with Kerry, and Had You Right missed with the last kick of normal time, and Kerry went, "We're buggered." That's it.
Wow.
And as the Enzo Lefebvre went to take that corner, I'm like, they're scoring.
Oh, I just had a premonition.
Wise men say my ass, right?
Tony said, I really thought we'd go to extra time and Cov would take it. I will say, though, Coventry were much more clinical than Sunderland and have been all season pretty much. So I don't think anyone went into that thinking Sunderland were going to do it over 2 legs. That the first one's a fluke. But hey, it's football.
It's football. Go and beat Sheffield United because they're a horrible football club and horrible people.
We will indeed. If anyone does want some entertaining, please go to Ant's Twitter and watch his reaction at full time where he's swinging his shirt around that they've got through to Wembley. But I will say this, only like that noise when your team has won and everyone comes together to celebrate like that is just, there's just something about it, isn't there?
I wouldn't know I'm a Coventry City fan.
Well, Sunderland, it's been a while.
And Coventry United as well. So, I haven't got a women's team now.
Oh no. Well, okay. Well, if anyone does want to go onto the Sunderland Twitter and watch that video,
it is
I was going to say it's It's brilliant.
Can I just Ryan throwing shade at Rosie?
So does Rosie only turn up at the end of the season when the league's won? Yeah.
I mean, she still turns up before the Arsenal defence. So
Chelsea actually basically won the league already earlier in the season. So
just on that, I sent Chloe a meme. Hang on. In the World Sevens that we spoke about last week, it says, due to the small number of players, the pitch size will be reduced and there will be no offsides, but throw-ins will remain as normal. And someone's retweeted going, Stina, you would have loved this.
Our Emma would have been thrilled with that.
Oh, she absolutely.
But what would Leah Williamson have done? She'd have had to defend. She can't just go on every through ball. Like,
yeah, the fans aren't gonna like that one.
Our Emma, offside always.
Always. 3 things assured in life: death, and Blackstenius being offside.
can I just also point out, Ryan has just said, at least our defence turns up in Europe when they're about to play Barcelona.
That's true. We're missing in the WSL for a few weeks, but hopefully they've found them just in time for.
You better hope they turn up, otherwise it could get. Yeah. If you let Man United score 3 goals, then.
And what was the Villa score?
You let Villa score 5.
Villa, no. Yeah, I mean they were just practicing, lulling Barcelona into a full sense of security. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a weekend in Portugal, isn't it, for those going? So it's a win-win everywhere. But you know what? We've got an English team in the Champions League final, so that trumps everything else, doesn't it? As much as we joke.
Well, if you believe in the blonde-haired, blue-eyed part of England, which is most of the, if you believe English people are all blonde-haired and ponytailed, then
well,
they're not going for Ellen, who's been, the new Ellen W. I don't know why.
I'm trying to work out how to pronounce that. How do you pronounce her surname without being vaguely offensive?
I mean, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. That's Arsenal's target. Like, I'm surprised they're not trying to bid for it.
That's a very, very good point. However, latest news then. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk latest news, the good, the bad, and the questionable. And then we've got a little something we want to share with you before our match reports from the final WSL weekend. So let's get into it, shall we? Chloe, we need to start with you because what was announced yesterday?
That Everton women will be moving to Goodison Park at the start of the 25-26 season. This is something that we have been pining for. And when I say we, I mean me. Ever since the men announced they were leaving, I've been like, right, let's get the women to Goodison. It's, well, for start with facilities for both fans and for players will be so much better. I mean, I went as press last week. Only one there, just going to add one that later. And I had to wee in the dark because the light switch wouldn't work. Spoke to Jo, I was like, oh, Jo, does the light work? And she was like, no. I'm like, great. So I was using my phone torch as a light because there was no, I mean, that's how good Wharton Hall is.
Oh, Chloe.
Honestly, it was not a great time.
It's a good job it was a wee because if there was no light, you'd have had to go for Spirit of the Poo.
No, except I need to have a word with Jo about that as well because they only play it once and it's an actual national outrage. I'm going to start a petition to get Spirit of the Blue played more.
Yeah, it needs to be on repeat. Because Walton Hall Park was like, I mean, we had a lot of fun and you were so close to players and it was so great just to be kind of in and amongst it. But you're right, there were so many uncertainties about Goodison. Was it going to be flat? Was it going to be a park? Was it going to be knocked down completely? So the fact that they're having Goodison as the future permanent home of the women, and then Walton Hall Park's going to be for the academy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still going to be used to bring the youth through. And you just think, look at this funding. What this funding can do, and such an amazing future. And yeah, we all just kind of went, thankfully, thank God more teams are doing it.
Everton now have the biggest stadium in the WSL and the biggest women's stadium in Europe and North America.
And Goodison was the first all-purpose built football stadium, and now it's the first standalone women's stadium. And it's just, I mean, it's just nice to see that there's actual investment being made in our women's team. Because I'm not gonna lie or sugarcoat it. I thought when the Friedkin group took over, it was just all talk. You know, when people do that and they're like, "Oh yeah, we care about our women's team and under 21s and all that just as much as we care about our men's first team." Blah blah blah. I thought it was just gonna be all talk, no trousers. I didn't think they'd actually do anything, but as soon as we made those signings in January, you know, like we got Emma Watson, we got Hayley Ladd, we got Kelly Gargo.
Yeah.
That's when you could really see the change. And it was like, oh, okay, this is like, they actually
meant it.
They are genuinely serious. They mean it. And Goodison Park as well has such a big history with women's football, you know, like in 1920 when the Dick Her ladies played there. And they had a crowd of 53,000, which is like the biggest at that time for men or women. It was the biggest crowd ever, and that's why football was banned, essentially, because it was more popular than men's. And that game started it all. And we also have this saying of, if you know your history, of one of our songs, and it's so meaning and it's so deeply rooted in that, like, if you know the history of the ground, of the women's team, just of Everton, that this now being our home, this honours the next generation, but it also honours that generation of the women who couldn't play, who got on that pitch, changed history by showing that women can play sports. It's showing everyone everything, and we have the honour of calling that our home. And I'm just so excited, and I just feel like this is such a needed change. Like you said, I love Wharton Hall. I liked how intimate it was. I liked how, you know, you could be like that with the players, but also the game's growing. That is not the stadium to do it at. Goodison is a stadium that we can grow. We can get bigger attendances because we deserve that. We can get more than 2,000 in. And yeah, I'm aware, and most Everton fans are aware, we're not going to sell out every week. Like, that's not going to happen, but it's an investment. It's a start. And if we can get just more than 2,000 in for those, say, quote unquote, big games like Arsenal, like Chelsea, like Man City, those who have big stars, big names who everyone might want to see, it shows that we can get more people in to see those names, those stars. And plus, Goodison's such a legacy ground that is so good to tick off the bucket list. And
yeah,
I'm just so excited for the future.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly the thing, because like what Matthew's saying, you might get fans who, you know, I've always wanted to go to Goodison Park, but if you follow the men's game, it's really hard to get tickets now, isn't it, for your team, especially away. You've got to be a season ticket holder with a certain amount of points, and you know, it's so hard to go to these other grounds. But now people who hadn't had a chance previously, they're so interested in Goodison and the history that if they're going, you know, purely for the name and then discover, oh, women's football's actually all right, then how fantastic is that? You've got another, you know, you've got more fans coming into the game. There are, of course, have been the negative critics of, well, Sunday's still going to be my last day at Goodison. And you think, all right, we'll see you later. Like, if you are so bigoted that you will refuse to go to your apparent hallowed ground because you want nothing to do with women's football, because it's belittling the legacy, and you're like, oh, come on. Like, grow up a bit, will you?
I did enjoy the guy with 15 followers, one of Everton's YouTube or something, 15,000, sorry, who posted, Sunday will still be my last day at Goodison. And then in his bio, he's got, proud dad of 4 daughters. It's like, so well done. You've just told your daughters that if they get to play for Everton, you're not going to go and watch them play at home.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You don't have to like women's football, but don't be so negative about other people wanting to go. Like, we're not forcing it on anyone. We're just making it accessible to people.
And that's plus, with, you know, like Goodison staying, you would have thought more people would have been happy about that, because it is that like it's the first football stadium. Like, that's what we're not focusing on here. We're focusing on, oh, women are moving in. They're not focusing on the fact that it was the first football stadium built purposely for this, and it's a historic ground, it's a legacy ground, it was the first ground. Like, we need to focus more on the first ground part.
What makes me laugh is they're all kicking off about, oh, they won't fill it, and Everton have already said, right, we are realistic enough. So, and I was reading in the Athletic report on it that the plan is to cover off the top tiers. So basically, you've got the lower bowl of Goodison in the side stands and at one end, and then you've got the Gladys Street end, which I think is single tier anyway.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna literally sell tickets from the front. So rather than just going, oh, we'll just buy tickets wherever, it's like, we'll sell them from the front and fill it. And the later you get, the further back you are.
That's the way it should be. They're thinking about it.
And they know, like, we're all fully aware as Everton fans, we're not going to sell it. Like, we're not Arsenal who'll get like 46,000 or 50,000 at the Emirates. We're fully aware we're not going to sell it, but it's so much better than the 2,000 that we can fit in Walton Hall. It will have cover for a start. It will have seating. Like,
the amount of times I've been soaked through at Walton Park.
Even as press, you get soaked. Like, I'm there shielding my laptop like that, just hugging it, like, please don't get wet.
I now want to get to do a commentary at Goodison Park, just to go in the press box, the actual commentary gantry. I've said this before. Have you seen the commentary gantry at Goodison Park, like the one in the 3-tier stand, where you have to go outside the ground? You go inside the ground, up to the back of the stand, and then outside the ground, up onto the roof, over the top of it, and then down the ladder.
That scares me.
Bit Mission Impossible.
Like imagine doing that
sailing
in
down
the
into
snow.
the pitch, delivering the match ball. That'd be great. But yeah, that's the thing. It's a fantastic thing. It's a fantastic move by the club. And even if you don't want to watch it, just appreciate what a massive thing for women's football that this is. Because Rosie, I was going to ask you, obviously with Chelsea having more games at Stamford Bridge, but Kingsmeadow is that sold out fortress, isn't it, usually? So are you looking forward to hopefully moving to Stamford Bridge, or do you quite like how intimate Kingsmeadow is?
I think with Stamford Bridge, when it's not sold out, sorry, I've got a cold. When it's not sold out, it's kind of hard to get chants going.
Yeah.
And it's difficult when, at Kingsmeadow, if you've got all the hardcore fans concentrated in one space, it's easier to create that noise.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you've got sort of a smaller game at Stamford Bridge that's not selling out. But I think there should be a middle ground. So we've kind of outgrown Kingsmeadow, but maybe moving to a 10k, 20k capacity would be better. Because I don't want to just make that jump to Stamford Bridge because I think it's too soon.
Fair. Yeah. I hear there's one in Kent available.
Could you not just close off the top tiers? And just have Matthew Harding lower and then...
Yeah, we don't sell them anyway most of the time. It's only when it gets to a big game, we open the top tiers. I get the point, but I think a smaller capacity stadium would be better. And then that way it could be, because sort of if the men moved completely out of Stamford Bridge, I'd understand it with Everton. But if the men are staying and we're just expanding it, then I wouldn't want the women to move there full time. Because no matter what, will always be second to the men. And I think, with Everton, that's amazing. They've got their own ground. And it's not this fixture can't be played there because of the men.
It's really for them. Yeah, we felt similar about Villa Park as well, because they sell up, they don't sell round, which still baffles me, because surely one continuous barrier of noise is much better than just one side, but that's me. But there are no other stadiums in the West Midlands that are bigger than Bescott but smaller than Villa that aren't already taken by other teams in the division. So it's hard, isn't it? Because you want to grow, but if there's nothing available, then you don't.
I was just about to take issue then. When you're there were no stadiums between Bescott and Villa Park, and I was like, where have I been watching football for?
That aren't already taken by other women's teams.
CBS say there's no women's team in Coventry now. So.
Well, that's true. But can you imagine? Yeah, we're Aston Villa, and we're playing Coventry. Because it was, and then it's distance, and then it's, well, is it still Villa if you go further? And yeah, it's hard. It's really, really hard. But Everton have been able to do it, which is fantastic. Now we also had the Lionesses squad, of course, announced this week for the Women's Nations League. I always got to say National League. Always Nations League games against Portugal and Spain. So we are at home for Portugal, away for Spain, and it was a first senior call-up for Spurs' Ella Morris as well, which Chloe had a little sneak peek at the weekend. Our incredible journal here. So yeah, Chloe, you talked to Robert Villaham, didn't you, at the weekend? And he essentially said that she should have been a wild card anyway for the Euros. But yeah, can you just sum it up for us, like why he thought she should have been considered, please?
Well, I mean, I saw it for myself on Sunday, and she is good. Like she is really good. So I do get his point, and I just thought I'd ask him about Ella Morris because she's been really good this season, and she's also in the under-23 squad. So I was like, oh, do you think she deserves a senior call-up type thing? And he was like, oh, hang on, I'll find the direct quote. That would make my life much easier.
Well, while you're finding it, I will just say we have returns for Georgia Stanway, Lauren Hemp, and Alex Greenwood. Fantastic to have those three back in and amongst it. Again, even if they only get, 10, 15, 20 minutes, just to kind of ease them back in before the Euros is going to be fantastic.
What does kind of fascinate me about Ella Morris is last season, Southampton's fullbacks on both sides, so Ella Morris on one side and Millie Mott on the other, were very clearly the two best, standout players.
Yeah.
And Ella Morris has been noticed, and Millie Mott hasn't, despite having flaming red hair and being the most visible player on the pitch when Southampton played.
Yeah.
Nobody's really noticed her ability, and it's like interesting.
No, not at all. So yeah, it makes you wonder. Obviously, we've seen it before. Certain teams, certain nationalities get favoured more than others. When really the talent is sometimes better in the underrated ones. Chloe, have you got it?
Yeah, I've got it. So we'll just mention, because I did mention it a little bit before. I was the only journo there because everyone was at the bridge watching the trophy lift. Fair enough, great day out. Whereas I got to hang
again. Did they?
Apparently so. Apparently so. Everyone was there.
Someone's got a hashtag about it. What did what it was about?
So I was actually the only one at Walton Hall Park. I had a great time. Had a lovely one-on-one with our Bri, who kind of annoyed me a little bit, but
but we love him.
Paradise.
No, sorry. He does go off topic. I asked him a question about the women moving to Goodison. He smirked and went, "Well, we'll have to see." And I went, "No, we don't have to see, Brian. You've just literally confirmed that to me right there with that. You've just confirmed that to me. So now I officially know, and I can't actually say anything about it because now I know because you know." And because that's friends, like he doesn't know that I know that he knows that she doesn't know that we know. And it was brilliant. But
sorry, am I having a stroke?
One told Seamus that Vati told Dean. Yeah.
No, but,
was that a logic problem? Like, what was going on there?
Bobby Vale said, "I think she's one of the brightest stars this season with the season she's had. I think she's been a great signing and she's adapted very well. I think we now have a right back that can play in this side and we want to show she has even more potential. I know that she's in the under-23s national team, so I would say I am hopeful that she might be one of the wild cards for the Euros. I think she's performed on the highest level and I think the potential she has to go to the Euros will be massive. So I really hope that Serena brings her to the Euros." And lo and behold, I do hope she plays though and she isn't just like sat on the bench.
Let's think. We need some youth coming through on that right-hand side, don't we? So it's just perfect to do that. I'm also regretting my choice of podcast snack because I was like, "Oh, chew it's great," and then remembered that either I then can't speak, and they're too hard to bite. So I'm just going to be in my corner with a bit of a chew it that I might be able to eat.
But also, off topic, did you see the Tilly's announcement video? How cute that was.
That was very cute, I have to say.
Was that one of the let's find pictures of kids of them as kids and home video footage?
Yeah, but why does Kyra's look like it was taken last week? Everyone's literally got photos of them as children. Like, you've seen Caitlin's before. She put it on her Instagram last week to celebrate her like 11 years of being Tilly. And everyone's they look so young and like a little bit unrecognizable. And Kyra's was literally taken last week.
Kyra Cooney-Cross is so young. She's the only person who has her childhood video taken in 4K. Like,
it was literally last weekend this photo was took, but I love that. I wish we kind of did more fun videos like that, because I've sent a couple of them to Freya saying like, oh, I love this idea, this is such a cool announcement video.
Yeah, it gets to the point where women's social media is getting so much better than it was, but some clubs are really raising the bar a lot higher than others, and you just think, why can't that be the standard? And hey, we're going to talk about standards very, very soon.
I actually felt really bad because, speaking of that, the new Lionesses kit as well. We went in the squad. The new Lionesses kit came out.
That's my next point. Hey,
seamless. I felt really bad because you know the teaser video that everybody does now.
Yeah.
I saw that teaser video, and anyone who's watched Doctor Who will get this reference. I saw Mary Earps and just went, don't you think she looks tired?
Mary Earps, former goalkeeper. Yeah, well, everyone thought it was like a really bad leak, didn't they? And they were like, no, that's not real, that's awful, that's ridiculous. It's the real thing. So yeah, thoughts, Chloe, Rosie, do you like it?
I've got mixed opinions. I like the kids, but I don't really like the home kit. I like the away kit, but I don't like how the goalkeeper kit's badge is right in the middle of the shirt, opposed to the the other home and away kit having it at the side. Like, it just looks weird. It looks wrong. No, thank you.
Yeah, I like the away kit. It's quite like cool.
Away kit's nice. Yeah,
it's so, I don't know, unoriginal. It just looks like the men's training kit from a few years ago.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. If everyone remembers the 2018 training kit for the men's, and you think it's a Euros, it's not just like, oh, this is the 25 kit for a couple of friendlies. Like, imagine if we won again. We probably won't, but imagine if we did, and that was the kit that we lifted the trophy. And it's like,
the thing that makes me laugh is it's a retread of an original England kit.
Because
the 2018 training kit was a remake of the 1982 World Cup kit.
82, yes.
Which coincidentally was where England went out in the group stage. So the FA.
So we've got high hopes. High hopes. Then. Yeah. Hey, well, watch this space. We're bringing it all to you this summer. Don't you worry. Now, unfortunately, we also had some pretty crap news coming from a women's football team. Paul, I wonder if you could take us through this, please. Blackburn Rovers have announced, well, actually, the players themselves have announced that they don't even know if they're going to be in the Championship next season due to funding. And they've got, I saw Emma Sanders post about it earlier, they've got until Monday, I believe, the club, to confirm whether they're going to put up the money to finance the women's team into the Championship next year. And then I read a little something that says Sheffield United's future remains uncertain. So I don't know if Sheffield would then stay in the Championship.
It's incredibly Sheffield United to shit out staying up. What a horrible club.
And it's just awful. I hope they don't. Because I feel for the players, like, just not the club. I feel for players. So yeah, because Paul, this kind of came out, and we know Blackburn's had financial issues quite a while. There was the issue about wages, wasn't there? That came out last season. Beginning of this season. And you just think, how can this go from bad to worse? And ultimately, could we be looking at like another Reading, like, and how they're going to go downhill?
I mean, it's horrific optics for whatever the hell they're called now. Is it WSL Limited?
WSL Too Fast Too Furious, I think.
WSL2 Electric Bloody Boogaloo. Somebody lend me 50p for the electric meter. No, Graham, I'll just put the light on, okay? I'll have you know I look better in natural light. I have to think about my aesthetic, you know, as a thorn amongst roses. I have to think about my aesthetic here. Anyway, so
yes, Nick's being sensible to WSL football. Yes,
it's come out, and Niamh Murphy and several other players. Alex Brooks was one amongst them, which was a bit weird because they all kind of put the same statement out. So either they've all had ACL injuries, or they all copied Niamh Murphy's. And I don't think Alex Brooks has had an ACL injury, if I remember correctly. And they all put a statement out basically saying, we've had enough of this. 3 years of underfunding and cost cutting and lip service and not being paid enough even to be essentially pro football players. Even though expected to perform like pro football players, some of us still have to do other jobs.
Yeah. And
now we were informed on Monday in a group call that we might not exist next season because the owners are sitting with their fingers up their rear ends trying to decide if they want to finance a team with their crap chickens. Venk is obviously the owners of Blackburn, a bad poultry firm, but obviously trying to put all their eggs in one basket with the Benz team. There you go. But what does please me, and it should please everybody, is an hour ago, the Blackburn Rovers Fans Coalition, which is basically obviously the fan organisation for Blackburn, has reacted and released the following statement regarding Rovers women, which is the Blackburn Rovers Supporters Coalition is deeply alarmed by emerging reports from within Blackburn Rovers women's camp regarding further potential cutbacks and, even more alarmingly, the real possibility funding from the club's absentee owners could be withdrawn altogether, which leaves the team just days away from ceasing to exist. This amplifies a club in crisis lacking any clear vision or ambition, which is further damaging to our long footballing heritage. The community in Blackburn is immensely proud of the history and legacy of Rovers women's team and the positive impacts it's had on our Lionesses, whilst developing some of the world's best female players since it was formed in 1991. Any move to scale back support is not only a betrayal of that legacy, but a disgraceful signal of indifference from those entrusted with the stewardship of this historic club. So they're really not mucking about here.
No, really powerful. Yeah.
The coalition is currently in direct dialogue with representatives of the women's team, whilst we've also reached out to the board of directors and owners seeking clarity, which I love seeking clarity as a phrase because that's basically PR speak for we ask them what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
And the claims that have been made public in the last 24 hours. To date, the board has refused to meet with the coalition to discuss various growing concerns about the mismanagement of the football club as a whole, despite publicly claiming through national media a desire for discussions. The Supporters Coalition has representation from 90% of Rovers supporter groups and a growing number of independent supporters, including that of the women's team, and we're united in our goals for a transparent club with a renewed sense of ambition from grassroots to the seniors. And then they keep going with, we cannot remain silent whilst the current ownership puts their own self-interest above and beyond the fabric of a 150-year-old institution, which is Blackburn Rovers Football Club. Their unprofessional approach by the club's executives to engage with the women's playing staff highlights the inexperience and arrogance of those entrusted with the reins at Ewood Park. Our club has become a breeding ground with no accountability or responsibility. Opportunists are spawning in all departments to the detriment of the health of the club. We call upon the Rowell family to consider the lasting damage to Blackburn Rovers without its women's team present and explore all other options, including third-party intervention, should they wish to cease a direct commitment of funding for the team. The coalition is committed to finding an amicable solution to allow our women's team to continue to flourish for many years to come, while supporting the players and coaches through this period of uncertainty. Now, that is a proper football club.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That is a proper fan
Proper
base.
response. Yeah.
And I'm put in mind as well of the Wolves fans' response as well. With the same thing.
Yes. Yeah, because it was saying Wolves now have said we will apply every year from now on.
Yes.
After that uproar. Yeah.
Because they've basically been bullied into doing it. And this is why I am sceptical of clubs like London City Lionesses and the get rich quick franchise thing.
Yeah.
Because if Michelle Kang turns around and goes, do you know what, I don't fancy this anymore, then who is going to really miss London City?
Well,
where is that community where is that identity? Where is that fabric that represents somewhere where, you know, a whole town will unite and go, no, hold on a minute, this is our football club. These are people representing our town, and they deserve to be treated with respect.
It's hard, isn't it? Because, and again, we spoke about this last week, Michelle Kang is doing so much for the women's game and putting so much money in, and you just think this is all, you know, it's great, we need people to be putting this money in, but then there's, you know, certain other issues that we have talked about before, and it's that identity, isn't it, that ultimately you want as a football club, and if there is an injustice, you want to be able to fight it, like you said. I
mean, we saw it happen with my Coventry United, because when it was announced they were moving, didn't really raise a ripple.
Yeah.
In Coventry, because it was a small but dedicated group, but because it wasn't Coventry City, most people went, "Oh, it's not my football club."
Hey, we've got a London City supporter in the chat.
Actually, yes, Nessie, I apologise for being quite so brutal on your London City. My main cynicism behind it is that when it was an independent football club, you know, we joked about supporters, but people who turned up made an effort to turn up, and now it's very much a casuals club, seemingly. Because you look at people, it's like, oh, Arsenal are playing away, we'll go and watch London City, kind of thing, and it's like, that's not what you build a WSL team on.
I do love the response. I've only joined. I'm quite skeptical of everything. But yeah, I mean, what Matthew said, just had it on the screen there. You know, this is the club where Kira Walsh and Ella Toone started their careers. Now look at where the women's team is. And you just think, oh, look, Kira's back. Yeah, you just think, how does a club do it? So we hope that there is some clarity in this situation.
I didn't know Missy Brokearns played at Blackburn either.
No, I don't think I did. Spent a season on loan. There you go. Yeah, did we all see in the statement as well? Blackburn Rovers weren't even allowed to use the same coffee machine as the men because it was only men's team only. And you just think, you're one team, like you're one club. Come on, like that's ridiculous.
So, well, you can play at Ewood Park, but you can't use the coffee machine.
Yeah, you can take pictures, but don't touch anything. And that's literally what it is, isn't it? And who asked? I think it might have been Mark. Sorry, Mark, I can't find it. He said, "How much does it cost usually to run a championship club?" And I've just been having a look. It can cost around 350,000, which in the men's game
is Casemiro for a week.
Yeah. Of course, WSL top teams can spend about $1 million, etc. But if we're looking at championship, you're looking at what, 350-ish. But again, that depends on salaries. That, you know, that's
$500,000. You can have a competitive championship team.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, you can.
You know, just because Durham can't have been running on. I could sit, you know, much more than the minimum amount you can run a championship team on.
No, and you look at what teams, you know, are able to do with such limited budget, and I think maybe that's some complacency from some clubs to be like, oh, well, we've only been giving them 10p and they're doing all right. So, I'll just keep giving them 10p then. And they're not putting that money in to grow, are they? In that investment. So yeah,
you're not allowed to do that now, apparently, because if you put too much investment in, then it's buying the league and it's cheating and it's too much, and people start complaining. There we go.
I'm trying to unclog my nose. It's so gross. I'm going to turn my camera back on.
Speak 3 times about cheating and winning the league, and she appears.
See, that's what I kind of love about our club so much. Like, they do care about the women's team, and they do take on like that responsibility as well. And also what I love about Man City as well, because if you notice on their tweets and social media, they never say men or women. They just literally say City.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the number of people it annoys when it's like they just put signing announcement and then it's for the women's team and you get 500 responses. Why didn't you tell us it was the women's team?
Oh, but I love it. I just think that one club mentality is banging, and that's not what Blackburn have. That's not what Wolves have. Like that. That's what you want. You want your men's and your women's team to work together, because at the end of the day, you're all playing the same sport. You're all in the same proximity. Unless you're Man United, then someone's in the car park and someone's in the training ground.
Someone's in a pop-up tent and someone's in an actual building. Yeah.
Someone's in a basement written on the wall.
Have we all seen what's happened to their end of season awards night?
Yeah. They're still getting awards though.
Still getting awards. They're not having an awards night.
They're having a barbecue, apparently.
They're having a barbecue.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fancy.
But bring your own beer.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
And if you want fancy burgers like Tesco Finest or Waitrose or Budgeons, I suppose it is up north, buy your own. They're not made of money.
And to wear your own clothes, you bring in £1, and it all goes towards the raffle at the end of the month.
Let's bring your own raffle.
You bring your own raffle prizes.
Bring your own smellies for the raffle.
Clubs like Chelsea don't have to worry about this.
Yeah. Bring your own sweets, but don't take too many.
Oh, if they don't get a raffle to win some smellies and an Easter egg, tragic.
An award
like Chelsea.
What do you reckon people would put in an award night potluck if they bought their own prizes? Hannah Toon would definitely bring like mascara or eyelash remover or something, wouldn't she? Just
to put on the thing. That would be
brand eyelash.
That's a different pod. That's for over the summer when we've got some downtime. We can think about their raffle prizes. Katie McCabe's would definitely be false eyelashes.
Oh my god, have you seen it? That's why she's always squinting, because she can't actually see anything. Like, her lashes are absolutely ridiculous.
She's always squinting because she's laughing like Muttley.
How she actually does anything with them is beyond me, because like could not.
But before we get sidelined too much, of course, even though we are Team Chaos, as Mark says, one team, one vision, and that should be it and done. Now, we also had the results of the Women's Professional Game Awards this week. So people like Mariona Caldente was named WSL Player of the Season. Izzy Goodwin, of course, got the Women's Championship Player of the Season. We had Goal of the Season, Rising Star, which went to Shakira Martinez of West Ham, of course. Championship Rising Star, Sophie Quirk. She finally got some praise. So congratulations to Sophie. We had Club Hero Awards, Player Champion of Change, Matchday Experience. And Fan of the Year, we just wanted to give a special shout out. And Rosie, I'll let you do this one, because there was one name, and this isn't taking anything away from the winner, of course, who was Bixing from Birmingham City. But one name wasn't on the shortlist at all, which everyone went, hang on, someone should be on there. So Rosie, would you just like to take a moment to express our thoughts?
Yes. So we would like to give a special shout out to Basil, who, if you don't know him, I think you will. But if you don't know him, he's at every single Chelsea women's game, Lionesses game. He's always the loudest voice. He makes sure that everyone is feeling comfortable and everyone's happy. Hands out sweets. We'll always stop to have a chat with you. I go with my mum, and he'll always say, "Oh, it's Helen and Rosie." He's so lovely, and he just always gets behind the team. Even like, I'm sure Freya, you would have seen at King's Meadow when we played Villa. He's just going up to the away fans and having a chat. Like, it doesn't matter.
Loveliest man. Yeah, there's not a bad bone in his body. Like, it's just football, isn't it? And just that experience and that love of the game. Yeah,
We need him on here. That would be the most viewed podcast ever, wouldn't it? We just had a thought and just Basil in the middle. It'd be really awkward though, because it'd be like we've got a special guest and he'd be here in the middle and we'd all just be sitting there like you're in the presence of Basil.
Yeah, I can't believe he's been left out of all the Fan of the Year awards, so we wanted to give him a special shout out.
We did.
Basil.
Yeah, because we appreciate everything he does. And again, you know, it's all of the fans, all the supporters, but you know, from your own club and with Basil, everyone knowing Basil, that was just an extra, like that's how far he goes for the club, and we absolutely love it. So just give him a little shout out for and to say thank you, of course. Now, if you've been watching, listening, subscribing since the beginning, you will know last year we did our end of season awards. So what we're going to do is on socials, either hopefully from the main account, what we're going to do, or it'll be mine, but we'll get it on the main account. We'll make it all professional. What we're going to do, we want you all to vote. Okay, so we're going to do the shortlist for iconic moment of the season, the underrated starting 11, who you'd like to see, underrated WSL player, and underrated championship player of the season, underrated goalkeeper. I know who Chloe's vote's going for.
What?
And underrated manager of the season as well. Okay, so I will post all of those. Please do comment. I'll put it in the chat now if someone came to mind straight away. And what we'll do, we'll take everything, we'll get a shortlist up, and we need you all to vote for our own end of season awards. Okay, so make sure you keep an eye out for that either tonight, tomorrow morning, and voting will be open right until probably Tuesday next week, when we're putting all the graphics together. So please get involved with that if you can. Now, before we get into our match reports, we've got a little something we want to share with you. This week has been very tumultuous in terms of appearances, styling, mottos, morals. And we thought we'd have a little rebrand of our own. And I'd like everyone to just take a nice deep breath and listen to the soothing sounds of Paul as he tells us all about our new rebranding.
Are we ready, everybody?
Get ready.
Welcome to a new era of podcasts. Restless, relentless, unmistakably award-winning. Our content, our community, our criminally bad puns, our chaos. Born in Rosie's loft, created by passion, shaped by sarcasm, woven into a podcast. Here, Graham's bad puns become art. Our Skinner jokes are made visible every week. A living emblem of excellence, like Phil Neville, infinitely evolving. Every one of Chris's score updates, every autocorrect fail, every pun alive with intention. A podcast in motion, a podcast that moves with floaty L's, with thundy B's, with ding-dongs, and our own chaotic culture. We're not just a podcast, we're a movement, and a new era of absolute football is coming. Sorry, I had to turn the cam off then, because I'm laughing too much.
Now, we put this all together, and we also made some graphics. And I created one. I asked ChatGPT to create the other.
Oh, no way.
These are so good.
This is amazing.
I went in on this once we had the idea. So, mine was this one.
The video's nothing on the second ground. Oh my god! Told you we'd make fetch happen.
So,
my favourite is Live, Laugh, Lesbian. Just putting it out there.
well, it's who it's aimed at now. It's who it's aimed at.
Oh, but the podcast is a podcast. That's very 2008.
Oh, the podcast is a podcast. So this is kind of what I did. It was very much on brand for what they produced this week. And again, we are going to talk about it, don't worry. And of course, the blah, 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 football, blah, blah, from the Lego movie, if anyone's ever seen that as well. So, would we like to see ChatGPT's version?
Yes.
Okay. Boots, beats,
That's incredible! Look at the rainbow!
What did you put into it?
I did it on George's phone because she's got the app. But
But
essentially,
I've just seen Live, Laugh merch.
yeah, of course it is. So I asked ChatGPT. I went, right, I would like it was like peach and orange sunset vibes, retro Y2K, festival vibe. Like I went proper in on it. Okay. It then suggested segment ideas for the pod. Would we like to hear them?
Oh no.
No way.
Oh,
So each week we're going to have a burn book, and this is weekly hot takes or rants. We are then going to have.
We have that already. From now on, it's Skinner Burn Books.
We're then going to have the VI Pitch Pass, which is exclusive interviews.
With only the best VI pitches, presumably.
it's giving pitch perfect.
I can see it.
Please. There you go.
We're then going to have That's So Fetch, standout player or moment of the week. The halftime set list, which is a musical roundup tied to football themes. And the final item is kick or cringe.
Cringe, yes. My voice just went so high only dogs could hear it. I was so excited by that one.
Which is football fashion / branding commentary, which is exactly what Paul's just done. It has also given us some tagline options. Would we like to hear those?
Guess loser, we're going WSL.
Where football meets festival.
That's just Nikki Doucet.
For the girls who ruled the pitch and the party.
This is all. The tragic thing about this is all still better than the actual WSL rebrand.
It is.
For the girls who rule the pitch or the party is an absolute wristband.
Yeah. Not regular pundits, cool pundits.
Hold on. I actually need to take a drink because I'm coming back in a sec, promise. But I'm just taking a moment.
No, I've got one more. I've got one more. Paul, I've got one more. This is, I think, what we should adopt. 100%. We came for the goals, stayed for the drama.
We came for the goals, stayed for the drama.
Came for the goals, stayed for the drama, and I think
that's amazing.
I think we need to keep it.
That's so WSL.
That is so WSL. So that was our take on the rebranding that came across this week. I went on YouTube for the first time since the rebrand, and seeing the logos side by side is so sad. because they're just different variations of purple and orange. So yeah, if people missed it, essentially they teased a new era was coming, and we all went, "Oh, it's going to be a rebrand. They're going to go back to WSL and WSL2." Because for those who don't know, it was originally WSL2 before 2018, when it then became the championship. Initially in a bid to streamline the men's and women's game, so people would know, oh, championship second tier. So why they've gone back in time, I do not know. So
can I just say we've missed a slogan here, right? Which is where instead of kick or cringe, we can pick like the worst player of the week or something weird, and just call it. She doesn't even go here. Like weird transfer of the week could just be that.
Yeah.
No, the real thing we're missing is a joke about Wednesday, but I can't make it. Like
I should have worn pink.
Their podcast.
I absolutely should have worn pink. We have to present it in pink every single week. We all have to present it in pink.
Pink.
Absolute football on Wednesdays. We wear pink. ... and talk football.
Making fetch happen one episode at a time. We can make this something.
Mean Girls. Tony.
This came straight from the heart, Tony. How do
No,
you?
it's more.
What is Mean Girls?
What is a mean girl?
I have pink.
A single piece of pink clothing.
I have never heard of this Mean Girls before.
Because Matthew's in there, the logo just looked like they took inspiration from those Ibiza anthems from the 2000s.
Oh, it really was. Absolute track.
Just Ministry of Sound, like chilled Ibiza. Like that was literally what it was.
Either that or a really crap TV channel that sells holidays.
You too could be cruising in the fjords, right? Yeah, it's just a bit.
There's no crap lifestyle programs like Youth Hostelling with Guro Wrighton. They've got this whole thing, makeup tips with Alatoon. Conflict resolution with Katie McCabe.
Opposites day, we love. Now, I know we're taking a mick, of course, because it is all quite funny. But of course, they didn't do their due diligence because, as Nick's rightly said, the World Surf League has a very, very similar logo. Because, funnily enough, the Surf League has a wave on theirs, and the new WSL logo, it's like a deconstructed ball, isn't it? But kind of
the new WSL logo is infinitely evolving, and it's made by the force of the players and constructed by data because the voiceover told us it was.
So constructed by data, so AI, yeah.
It does look like a crap tampon. Like,
it just doesn't make sense.
It looks like it's soft, strong, and thoroughly absorbent.
No, that's toilet paper.
So I'll just have to see, because the first thing when you type in WSL logo is the World Surf League. And funnily enough, the new ones don't even come up. You've got to click on an actual article to get there. And the website still has Super League and Championship on it.
I love by the way, deodorant advertising with Leah Williamson, which is just an idea of every time she appeals for offside, someone just goes.
Or like petals come out from underneath when she does it. So for those who aren't aware, just as a quick one, it looks like this.
I mean,
we can see that. So it's,
that is Ibiza Anthems 2006, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Proper chill out Ibiza classics.
It is vaguely depressing that there are two of us in this chat who may not get that reference.
I mean, I was going for WSL players love Ibiza. I mean, Jordan Nobbs is out there right now. Maybe that's why.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that is. And I mean,
you have changed top, haven't you, Rosie? I'm not imagining it. You have put pink on.
I have, and it's purple.
Oh, well, you can be in WSL too. That's fine. So we can choose a side each week, whether one be pink or one with and We're calling that magenta. Is it purple? Is it?
You said if it was a TV channel, it would be WSL +1. Like
WSL 2+2 After Dark, HD extra.
Oh, did you see that thing on Twitter or X where it was like, oh yeah, my team's in the WSL, oh mine's in the WSL 2. Oh, who are they? No, they're in WSL 2.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic.
Actually, the more I look at this, if you take, I don't know why I'm doing this because none of you could actually see me putting my hands over it either side. If you take the logo out, it looks like a really shit dystopian thriller. The Bungle Games. Like,
I thought it looked a bit like a phoenix. Like I got like eagle. Oh, is it meant to be the Barclays eagle? Is it just deconstructed in gold? Is that what this is?
Is this like where deconstructed food is based? A deconstructed sandwich is because someone can't be asked to put the meat in the sandwich, so they just put the bread and then the meat next to it and go, it's deconstructed. No, you couldn't be asked to make a sandwich.
You couldn't be bothered to put it together, so you've made it just in a heap on the thing.
And then we have Petrol Company.
I love that.
So we've had about 5 different versions.
Yeah. So Shell, if you've got all your copyrights, get a complaint in now. It just, I mean, is it trying to be a football? Is it? I don't know. But the type font doesn't work with the typewriter font of the clubs. And then did we all see on the actual promos as well, like Ella Toon's name was spelt wrong?
She's 9'1" and 4 years old now, apparently.
Yeah, she was like what 5'49", which obviously isn't a thing. I love that I had to confirm that it wasn't real. And just everything was wrong, and you just think put a bit more effort in. And I just kind of wanted to throw it out there and to people in the chat as well. A rebrand wasn't really what we needed. That could have waited. Like nothing was broken, nothing was awful. But is this really what they're going to spend money on? Because Rosie, what for you, representing the younger generation on the podcast, obviously, who is this talking to? Because no one likes it. So who do you think they had in mind with this?
I think it was definitely a younger audience in mind. But when you go to a football match, you kind of just want to watch the football. And I think I speak for the majority of women's football fans when we say that we don't need a movement. We kind of just want football. Like, no one's going to a men's game and saying, oh, I wish we had more music. Oh, I wish I had a really cool festival wristband. That's not happening. So I think that, I don't know who they had in mind. I think it's definitely trying to bring more people to go to women's football matches, like enticing them, saying, oh, but we'll have this and we'll do this. But it's not actually clear what changes they're making. That's the other thing. No. Like, they've done the rebrand, but okay, what's next? Like, what are you actually doing for the atmosphere at a game? That's the other thing. It was
what are your actual goals? Yeah.
What are the plans? Because if you're trying to get people to go to games, tell them what to expect. But there was none of that.
No, it was just lots of media jargon of we're a movement, we're evolving, we're this, we're a legacy, we're a heritage, we're on a field with it, and you just think, okay, but what are you doing?
What they've done is they've seen certain other competing women's football podcasts who do the whole no football, just vibes thing, and decided that that's actually a good idea.
Yeah,
like with the sticker VAR can't save you now. Firstly, that's vaguely unsettling, and secondly, VAR doesn't exist in the WSL yet. so technically, it's an accurate sticker.
Yeah, it won't save you because we don't have the technology. Because Chloe, there are so many other things that they could have brought in first, rather than, hey, we're now purple and orange, come join us. Like goal line technology. Like, Chloe, what were your thoughts on this when it came out?
To be honest, I thought it was ridiculous because it's It's trying to be like girly and type thing, like, oh, the women playing football make it all pink and purple and sparkly and
Rainbows and unicorns.
and like they're the only colours that, you know, girls and women are allowed to like to make it pink and girly and make it so all women-y and yay, and like I just don't get it. Like, I mean,
Hashtag positive vibes.
my favorite colour is yellow. Like, can we make it yellow type thing? But I mean, the wristbands you get, I mean, I can't lie, the wristbands are quite cool. Like, you get at Wharton Hall, you get a pressed wristband. It's quite weird. So I wouldn't mind a wristband. I think that's quite fun, but it does feel very festively. It's giving Glastonbury type thing with all like the passes, and I just I'm not really a fan of the festival vibes, but it's also music. If they want to add more music to it, then, you know, the Emirates for Joy, they do DJ sets every now and again. Go to one of those games when there's a DJ if you want some music at the WSL. Like, we go for football, we go for the vibes of football. Like, the football chat is sometimes better than the actual game sometimes if you go with someone like you go for the football vibes, you don't go for the friend vibes or the festival vibes. You go to watch a game and forget about everything. This rebrand just makes zero sense, but it's also like, how many people are going to get confused with WSL and WSL2 type thing?
Yeah, and that was one of the things where the streamlines in the first place, because it was in the men's game, got Premier League Championship done. We had Super League Championship, so it made sense. So now it's okay, WSL, WSL2. Oh, so WSL3. You can imagine, like, if people don't know, it's like, oh, so which, like, but we also have the Premier League 2, don't we? Which is the reserves. It's the under-21s in the men's game. So how many people are going to think, oh, they're the youth teams, I won't go see them, or, you know, less inclined to go see them? And it just, I don't know, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth of the championship, I think. So very important question. Are we going to call it WSL2? Or is it going to be like Twitter, where we just still call it? And the Conti Cup, of course, that's never changing.
Always the championship.
Championship, yeah, everyone in agreement.
I can't call it WSL2.
I've had to change my transfer tracker. I'm gutted because I did it all. I'd put like the logos in deck chairs, like I was on it, and now they've changed them all, and I'm fuming.
I will say though, it was pleasing because in the past we've said that the media are a little bit gentle on the WSL and the way they're running stuff. But did anyone happen to see Megan Faringa's article responding to it? She went
No, I remember you talking about it though.
She absolutely went in, like, with one of those wonderful, really polite but incredibly sarcastic stuff. I mean, I have picked out some extracts because, you know, I'm a nerd like that. So, choosing between colour swatches or serif or sans serif fonts, or the angle at which an italicized letter starts speaking to something primal in us, is apparently much harder but still more important for the WSL hierarchy than considering minor things like, but not limited to, clubs that refuse to invest properly in their women's teams, the trench forming between the top four and the rest, the lack of jeopardy across most of the past season, an officiating system and coaching pathway crying out for better funding and training, which is a good start. Confronting these problems may not sell well to prospective investors, but some colour around the edges and pixie dust thrown at it until they dazzle in the golden hour won't solve them.
Oh, I like that.
And then talking about the vibes that we've got, she says, women's football has been hitched to the Festival Girl Power Summer bandwagon. Want to show off your support of the WSL? Try out the new sassy MacBook appropriate stickers featuring totally hip and cool jargon like pitch please or I kick a ball for a living. The latter conveniently forgetting that for many of the players in the championship, WSL2, the phrase a living is doing a lot of heavy lifting. You can even get your hands on some Axis Hilarious wristbands in order to feel like attending Arsenal at Everton on 2 p.m. on a rainy afternoon in February is just like going backstage at an Olivia Rodrigo Coachella set.
In it, is, and that's hit the nail perfectly. That's fantastic because is I think it was Tawny, saying, we're the perspective of the traditional football fan, but we pretend other types of fans don't exist, but they do, and that's fine. You can be whatever type of fan you like. However, it's taken it away from the important bit. So surely it's up to the club, it's up to the stadium if they want to put music on before the thing, if they want to, it's that kind of match day experience, and that's why we had the awards for it at the awards night this week for that match day experience. But really, we're looking at we need better qualified refs, and we need goal line technology maybe in the future. We need a decent standard.
The point that Megan did make, though, that I really enjoyed and is perhaps the most telling point of all, if you like, beyond the issue of faith in the very sport this organisation is supposed to be placing faith in, there's a side to their constant insistence on the all access tag that starts to feel a lot less gimmicky and more sinister when you think about it and consider it through a wider prism. At what point do we start exploiting that tag in its most literal sense, where players are commodified, flaying themselves piece by piece to baying audiences, dressing rooms and internal sanctums, streaming opportunities? Because this is how you grow a sport, right? You give the people what they want. Only, what if this isn't what women's football fans want? What if that isn't giving people the credit they deserve? What if women's football fans don't actually want football adjacent? What if they just want football?
Yeah, perfect. And that's exactly
and
it.
That was the bit where I was like, yes.
Yeah, 100%. It's as Emily says, they should keep football. It's not a concert. We need the fans that so if it's all that, it's just going to invite fans that aren't there for the tough times. A lot of glory hunters and trendsetters, because it's all about TikToks and branding and partnerships and all this. And you just think, well, there's a lot of people now coming through that see it as an opportunity, and it's taken it away from the game and it's taken it into, hey, let's do an advert for Skoda on YouTube that repeats every 5 minutes.
You just wanted to say Skoda properly, didn't you? You just wanted to show off your Czech pronunciation. But it is sucking people in, like you say, because I saw the question for Rosie that now some guy called Alexis, the guy who runs Reddit,
Serena Williams
has chucked a load of money in to Chelsea.
Yeah, I've started. Hang on. Yeah. So Alexis Ohanian, 10% shareholder, worth 20 million in Chelsea. Rosie, what do you think? Is that a good thing that we've got like big name investors want a piece of English football clubs?
Right. Are we going to go on my rant now, or am I going to save that for later? Let me know.
I mean, technically, we're talking about content now and TikTok and people producing supposedly spontaneous content to sell to people and money.
Firstly, your original question, Freya.
Look, you try to be professional. It's cute.
And that was the most patronising I've ever heard you.
Right.
Look at you trying to be convinced.
Alexis has been interacting with fans on Twitter and showing just genuine love and support for the team. And I think to have someone like that have a stake in the club that genuinely cares about that team is just an amazing thing to see, because he was interacting with fans. I mean, fans were telling him to invest, and he did. But I don't know if that's the reason. But maybe we did help a bit. But yeah, I think when you've got soulless millionaires just so detached from the team, it like makes it feel like you don't feel, cared about as a fan. But someone that has been interacting with us that now has a say at the table. Is that an expression? A place at the table?
We can make it one.
Let's go with it.
We can do sassy MacBook appropriate stickers for our rebrand. I have a say at the table.
Exactly. he has a say at the table, and I think that's it's important to have someone like that.
Okay.
Now, I might just do it, guys. I might just do it.
Oh,
So-
she can't hold it back. Here we go. Angry Rosie. You think
go
I
on.
rant, people?
I'll
Are
have
you
another
ready?
chew it now if you're going on a rant. Okay, that's fine.
You get your tin hats on.
Let me actually get some notes. These are not my notes. These are just my tweets. Because I don't keep myself. So, if you don't follow me on Twitter, please do. It's Rose Dawson _14.
Shameless,
You
shameless.
could have just
Can't wait
pointed at
until
the
the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Just a shameless plug halfway through.
Honestly, she gets her content on the Barclays WSL site, filming goals and all that sort of stuff, and all of a sudden she's too professional for us. You know, don't be like Rosie, Chloe. And you know, when you get too big, don't you be let fame go to your head.
You go forget about us now.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah.
You know I'll be here to annoy you daily. It's even more than I already do.
Right. So we all saw that video of the fans talking about like hot takes and
In
whatever.
inverted commas.
And and there's been a lot of discourse about how
Is it
Chelsea
this one?
Yes, it is that one.
Okay.
There's been discourse about how Chelsea are investing too much in the women's team. Now, if you'd have said a few years ago, oh, in a few years' time, there's going to be $1 million signing, and it's going to be Chelsea, and it's like so much money in women's football and investment, you would never say, "Oh, Chelsea." I mean, you might, but you would never say that's a bad thing. I just don't understand how everyone's turned around, because I understand that we don't want to become like the Spanish league, because Barca are just winning everything and running away with it and blah blah blah. I don't care.
Blah blah blah. Football. Blah blah.
Whatever. But like Chelsea didn't win the FA Cup last year. Chelsea aren't winning every single game. Well, unbeaten this season, but just that's all.
Right.
Just gonna drop that in.
Chelsea ruining everything again.
They mentioned Palace specifically in the video. Crystal Palace, they have a men's team in the Premier League who are making however much a week. It's not that they don't have that money. It's that the owners are choosing not to put that money into the women's team. And it's not the fault of clubs like Chelsea putting too much in. It's that everyone else just isn't willing to get to that level. Because it's not that they can't. And I'll admit that, Bristol City, Reading, they might not have that. They might not be able to do that. But Crystal Palace, come on. They're in the Premier League. Like, they have that money. And I know that's not that simple. It's not black and white. But if you want to compete at the highest level, you put that money in. And it's not just Chelsea is the other thing. Arsenal, allegedly, were going to drop $1 million on Kira Walsh. They wanted Naomi Gomez. I think they put in a bid for her, but she rejected them. Lol. I don't know why I said lol.
That's so fun.
So professional, and then just lol.
But it's all about Chelsea, and no one's saying, "Oh, Arsenal, you're going to drop $1 million on Kira Walsh, give her to another team." Let Everton have Kira. Like, Chloe might be saying that, but no one.
Yeah, let Everton have Kira.
No one is seriously saying, Arsenal, why are you doing that? But it's just Chelsea. And someone said to I'm just reading the replies to my tweet because I think I worded it quite well. If I say so myself. Someone said you've got teams like Leicester City, London City, Lionesses and Bristol City. Firstly, why are we name dropping London City? They have money. Did you see that transfer window last year? Like, come on.
Yeah, we've seen who Michelle Kang's friends with. Like,
let's not say that there's some little independent club just trying to make their way. They're not. They're funded by a billionaire.
Yeah.
Michelle Kang owns Lyon. She's not poor.
Like literally just the town of Lyon.
Yeah.
Like, not the club.
They all bow to her will.
She's officially bought the second biggest city in France. Like,
It wouldn't surprise me.
But the real issue, if we're talking about teams like Bristol City, is that division between the Championship and the WSL. And it's so hard for teams that are promoted to stay up. But that's not Chelsea's fault. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no link. And if we're going to support Championship teams trying to stay in the WSL, I should say WSL teams, but we need to start supporting them, and we need to put that funding from the league. Like, I don't know, you see the point I'm making? Like, the clubs need to put that in, and the league needs to put that in instead of doing this.
I mean, it is going to be an arms race next season. And by the way, it did make me laugh that Manchester United, who have signed more players than Chelsea over the past few years, like 5 or 6 more players than Chelsea, were complaining. Arsenal have signed more players than Chelsea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, it's not that we're hoarding players, as I saw someone say, because Naomi Goma, Kadisha Buchanan did her ACL. We needed a centre-back. So we signed one pretty easy. We got the best one we could. We've needed a defensive midfielder for years. So we got Kira Walsh. It's that simple. It's not that we're just like buying any player we can get, because no one needs that.
Is that a nice feeling to have, like your club do that? Is that quite
Yeah,
nice?
it's nice having money because
Oh, there we go. There's the bit. Is it
There
nice
we-
having money?
we've got players that we got 4 players in January for the first time in like 4 years. We've actually been able to sign players without having to sell more, rather to sell our best ones to get
And
more.
we've needed defenders for years, and we don't.
But
we've
we've got
been
money
years.
now. We can be the next Chelsea. We've got money now because we've got investment.
I do enjoy like Anton says there, like sustainability of the game against Chelsea, because Michelle Kang, of course, is definitely making a thing for sustainability in the Championship, where her first signing is Kosovo Aslani. Like,
Yeah, but do you remember when they got Izzy Goodwin for like 6 figures? And it was like, sorry, you're paying how much? I mean, she's good. We know she's good, but that's mad that you're paying that much. And again, it's just because she's good and she can, so why not?
and I do agree, like Rosie says, it's because it's Chelsea. If it's Man United, I've seen Man United fans already going, oh well, this summer we'll have Becky from West Ham, and we'll have Fuka Nagano from Liverpool, and we'll have Shakira Martinez.
I think I saw that conversation.
It's like there's arrogance, but I don't see Chelsea fans just casually every summer going, right, we'll play Galactica, and we'll have her, and we'll have her, and we'll have her.
I think, unfortunately, there are a few fans like that. They just go on Twitter and say, let's poach Olivia Smith, stuff like that. But yeah, it's not that sort of arrogance that's like, let's just get her. Because firstly, can I say on Olivia Smith, she's only been at Liverpool for a year, and other clubs are trying to poach her. I wouldn't have that. Anyway,
she has a 2-year. She has a 2-year contract at Liverpool still as well.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah, I think it's the fact that it is Chelsea, and it also is just a bit jealousy. Like, all their winning trophies, that must be because of money. But no,
I mean, it is.
It is a little bit, but
because you can buy the players.
We built up this foundation of success within the women's team, and that comes from having the right staff, which yes, you do need to pay for. But yeah, I think that, we didn't win the league because we poached Naomi Goma. We won the league because there's that foundation of winning, firstly, ingrained within that team, and that comes from having the right staff behind the scenes, and it comes from all of this other investment that no one is talking about, because it's stuff like, I saw people were saying on Twitter about how when Melanie Laurie-Pauls was pregnant, they hired a pelvic floor specialist, and doing that
Sorry. I tried to get to the mute button then.
Paul, are you okay?
I tried to get to the mute button then. I didn't get there quick enough.
It's like Emma Hayes, you know, you've all seen the documentary, doing that research on the menstrual cycle, and
yeah,
you know, it just makes the players feel supported, and it's that investment that we should be talking about, not just the $1 million signing.
I think that doesn't get talked about enough. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, you need, if you're going to support a women's team, it's not just, right, who do we have for the men's, right, get them in for the women. Yeah. It's a completely different ball game, isn't it? So yeah, that needs to be talked about.
I mean, stuff like Paul Green for Chelsea, for example. His influence as, is he what's his official title? Is it director of football for the women's team or general manager? Like, Arsenal are always moaning at Claire Wheatley doing that job, but you never see them. You'll never see them turn around and say, "Well, maybe Chelsea are winning because Paul Green is doing a really good job." And when he identifies needs, like for example a centre back, like for example a defensive midfielder, or either he identifies them or more likely Sonia Bonpasta goes, right, okay, ideally we want this player in this position. His response is, right, we'll go out and get you the best in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than we'll go out and find someone who fits.
That's nice. This is who we can afford. 10p in a dream. That's what some teams are working with. Yeah, we've got the staff at Chelsea is over 100 behind the scenes, apparently. So yeah, but no, they do have a massive backroom staff, don't they? And again, it's all down to that.
From experience, so did London City. From doing comedy, even a couple of years ago, London City came to the Butts Park Arena and they had about 8 people in the press box. They had analysts, they had medical people, they had one person who was there monitoring the wristband things that monitor heartbeat and stuff, and going, okay, which players are less than peak performance, and then on a walkie-talkie to Mel Phillips going, right, you might want to consider substituting our right back because she's performing at less than peak. And it's like, sorry, don't tell me other clubs aren't doing it. They're just not spending money in the right places. Mentioning no names, Arsenal.
Yeah, but it just shows you like the standard where some clubs are, and the massive gap. Again, we're talking about Blackburn, we talked about Reading when they went down. Like, there is such a gap between the clubs, and you think the WPLL is now known as WSL Football, which isn't going to be confusing at all as their company name. So, you know, instead of a rebrand, as much as, you know, we're making a joke of it, you know, there are so many other things they could have started to put in place. And, you know, maybe a rebrand is just part of this, and they could have launched it later. They didn't have to do it right now. There's just so many other steps and issues that need addressing before turning purples and blues into purples and oranges. It's just not needed, really.
I do think, though, with Emily saying Liv Smith as well, and Liverpool have said it'll take a world record fee.
Yeah.
Like, Chelsea aren't going to send that. Aren't going to spend that because, like we've said, Paul Green and Sonia Bonpasta and the staff are going to look at it and go, do we want to spend a world record fee on a 21-year-old who's had one season in the WSL? Or do we want to spend that fee on 2 players who are leaving Lyon and are proven, you know, World Cup winners or whatever?
Well, that's the thing, because we heard Eugénie Le Sommer is leaving Lyon after 15 years this summer. What's the bet she ends up at London City? I'm betting quite high on that.
She's over 30. Her best years were behind her, but she's a recognisable name. Yeah, she's ended up at London City.
She's 30. She's 35. Sorry, Eugénie, if you're not. 35. 35. So you
has an even longer name than Viviane Miedema as well. Her full name.
It's such a fantastic name, though, isn't it? Eugénie Le Sommer.
Yeah.
Fantastic name. Now we talked about the new state. We talked about, Nick put something. I can't find down Nick. Sorry. Kate Longhurst announced she was retiring this season as well. She said she thought she'd be playing forever, but unfortunately, now is the time to hang up her boots. Saw her play for Forest. She was there this last season, and she was still so good. So yeah, what a miss! Another legend retiring. Now. Just seeing the time, right? The last thing, the last main thing we're going to do then, we need to talk about the weekend, don't we? So this was the final weekend of the WSL 24-25 season. Just had to check I got the right years there. And what a weekend, because look at all the ding-dongs we had. What a week indeed. Everton, annoyingly, being the only one not in green on that left-hand side.
Was very fuming, actually.
I can imagine. So, Chloe, let's come to you first. Because it was so close, wasn't it? It was so close. But ultimately, 1-1 ended against Spurs. Talk us through this one, please.
Yeah, it was. I was there. Only went into press box. So essentially, this is one of only 3 match reports you'll read. Mine, the Tottenham media people, and the Everton media people are the only people who own these reports. No, but it was really funny. When I was in the press box, because it was literally me. The whole back row was reserved for Everton staff. So on the row was me, and then the 2 Tottenham people, and it was just really awkward. And I just kept looking at them like
awkward.
I just kept looking at them like, "Hey, what you doing?"
What questions are you going to ask?
Can I ask them what are you going to ask so I know what I need to ask? What am I allowed to ask and what am I allowed not to ask? Can I ask what I hear you ask? Oh no, okay. No, to be fair, we were actually the stronger side. Biased, not biased, you call it, but I think we were the stronger side. Tony Payne started the goal movements and chances. She struck from 25 yards in an open goal, but she didn't get it, which is quite annoying considering the goal was wide open. It was annoying, but T-Pain.
Was that the one that went off the post?
Yeah.
That off the post, yeah.
That was ridiculously annoying because it was so close.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we scored first. Honoka Hayashi, who we praised multiple times because she's great. She was fouled and Vetri Sari set up a free kick and it went just whooshed straight into the net. There's a cop tried to get a glove to it. Didn't work. Went straight into the net. It was perfect. We then came close to a second goal when Beth England couldn't clear it. Martina Fernandez headed the ball to goal but hit crossbar. Again, frustrating. We just apparently really like hitting the crossbar at Everton. Drew Spence equalised, which was quite annoying. It was Ella Morris who got the assist, which just proves she's worthy of her England call up. Exactly. She slid the ball perfectly to Spence, who just fed into back post past our court, and our court was fuming. She was. But also, our court is so underrated. Like Brian Sorensen even said to me after I asked about her that she is one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the WSL. She's. I just don't have enough words for how incredible she is. Like she's so great. She's incredible. I'm very, very excited to see her next year. Although she needs to re-sign a contract because hers is up next year. Claire, potentially her last time as captain as well. She's not leaving. She's just making a good might be back. Because big news of this game, apart from the 4 leaving, but I will move on to that in 1 second. The big news of this game is Aurora Ghali made her return 9 months after her ACL injury. It's quite remarkable. She did it in the first game of the entire WSL back in September, and then she came on for the final game. I mean, 9 months after rupturing her ACL. Sorry, but our medical team had absolutely nothing on anyone else's team. Like, impressive. It's so impressive, and working out the maths, but we all know I'm not very good at maths. Megan Finnegan should be all right for the start of the season after, because she ruptured hers in January, and just for timeline, she should be good for the start of the campaign. So might get our captain back walking out for the first game at Goodison Park. Yeah, boy.
Oh, could you imagine all of that aligning at the new season? That would be incredible.
And I will burst into tears. But it was very bittersweet because we were saying goodbye to 4 of our own. Caroline Olsen, Ricky Masden, Marion Mialdi, and Lauren Thomas are all leaving the club. And Emma Watson as well announced that her loan spell was over, which is very sad, but we do wish them all the best. And I also read, and I sent it to you, that apparently we've signed a Paris FC keeper, which I was like, have we? When did this happen? It's a leak online, but absolutely no knowledge of this. Because our only keepers are Alcourt and Rambo, Emily Ramsey. But Paris FC keeper, apparently. Who knew? But no, very, very good game. Had a lot of fun. Only one in the press box, only one in the media room. I think our brow was sick of me. He walks in and just sees only me there and goes, "Oh God, she's back." I love that man, although he so knew we were moving to Goodison Park. Sorry, but he knew. I asked him a question about it. He knew because he fully smirked, looked at Joe, and I'm like, "You've just literally confirmed this in one movement." He was like, "Well, we'll see. No, we won't see our bride. It's happening." But I did make the mistake of saying our home instead of your home. So now I've just exposed myself to Aubrey. But do you know what? It's fine. I think he already knows how much I love him. So
is that report trying to say that Ndozi has been signed by Everton?
Or was it Inez Marquez?
I've literally got no clue. I literally just read online. It was just it might be made up for all we know. I don't have a clue.
No, because I'm looking now. They're all, I wouldn't say reputable, but that I don't mean to be offensive. But not mainstream news, shall we say. But a lot of them MSN has got it. Oh, MSN, do you remember? The Nigerian Voice has done it because obviously she's Super Falcons. Reports indicate that Ndozi has signed a pre-contract agreement with Everton.
Oh,
setting the stage for a move. But yeah, so loads of people are reporting it, but no like mainstream that you probably class as.
yeah,
well,
no, I just read that.
Watch this space.
Yeah, I just read that the new owners have been very good about investing in the women's side, which I agree with because they have, and they immediately signed players in Jan, which first time I've had new players in like how long? No idea. And they've already signed a Paris FC keeper now, and Aubrey has confirmed that there will be signings made in the summer, but they need to fit the Everton feel. And I asked about the Everton feel, because I'm all about getting the good content here. And Aubrey said that the Everton feel is he'd like a little bit of like a younger squad. So he's going to try and get some young players in, which we're here for. We love. But we also don't know who's leaving Spurs yet because they haven't made their report public. They normally don't do that until like halfway through the season. Then you're like, well, I feel like we already know someone who's leaving, but we don't know who. But he also there's a little thing in her hair. But he has said that he'd also like to make some signings and. Kind of because they finished 1 point above relegation, and who would have thought that would have happened at the beginning of the year? So he said, Bobby said there's massive work to be done this summer, so watch this space. And if anyone ever wants to hear anything from managers, I'm always here I'll let you know where I'm going and you can find some questions.
Yes, exactly. The questions of the people, that's what we need. Now, Paul, I think we're going to come to you next, but indeed, I said everyone can put their thoughts in about this one because everyone in the chat is talking about it. This was Arsenal 4, Manchester United 3. One of the ding-dongs of the weekend, which Mr. Arsenal, Ryan, helpfully said, To be fair, our game became a ding dong due to Katie McCabe and Manu having brain farts at 4-1. And you know what? Yeah.
I mean, Arsenal outshot Man United 16-9 for a start. So they nearly double the amount of shots and only winning by 1 goal.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was weird because it seemed like a really boring kind of typical end of season game because you had Chloe Kelly and Ella Toon trade goals in the first 15 minutes, and then it was kind of, we'll settle down for the first half. And then Arsenal got 3 goals in 11 minutes.
And you thought, surely that's enough.
Yeah. And then Katie McCabe and Manu Zinsberger had brain farts.
Katie McCabe, though, can we just take a minute? Because how was she still on the pitch? And Arsenal fans, I would love to have your true thoughts as well. Because, I mean, she does do that, but you can't do that in the box, especially in every place. So, and I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans now saying Katie McCabe is giving away so many goals because she just can't control herself.
She can't see.
She can't see through her eyelashes. That's it.
It's too big. She physically cannot see.
It's the referee's fault.
It's the referee's fault.
The referees are all against her. And
yes.
It's a conspiracy. And Katie McBabe is untouchable, and how dare we impugn
as the
innocent character?
So, yeah, it's just I don't understand what I mean. She gets frustrated. People get frustrated. We know that, but when you just can't do it. She's not a new player. She's not a young player that.
She's like the James Corden of football. She really annoys everybody, but keeps getting work. Like, she really annoys everybody, and everybody kind of goes, she's not actually as good as everybody says, and somehow she keeps getting plum work.
Well, talking about maybe not as good as people think, a lot of people talking about this just highlights how much Van Domselaar, there we go, Tony's comment there. These last 3 games have really highlighted Daphne Domselaar saving the arses of Williamson, Catley and McCabe because she's acting like another centre-back. Paul, would you agree? Or has anyone else got any thoughts on that?
I mean, Steph Catley is a full-back playing as a centre-back. Leah Williamson is overrated. Heavy silence.
I can
it's like everyone was waiting for the lightning bolt then. It was like...
I could just hear the reactions now of Williamson's overrated.
I mean, you can clip that bit, Sam, just without context. Like, ahead of the Champions League final. Steph
We were talking about Leicester.
She is, though. But also, Arsenal's centre-backs and everything, I can't help feeling, and again, this might be biased, but I can't help feeling if Leah Williamson played for Chelsea, her play this season would have been far more scrutinised than playing for Arsenal. In actually negative fashion. And there would have been the articles of, can Chelsea afford to keep playing Leah Williamson? Or,
I mean, we've seen how much Millie Bright was scrutinised this season.
Yeah.
Even when she's the only player, I think the only outfield player she had the most minutes. I don't want to get the stat wrong because we all know what happens when you get stats wrong. But I think she had the most minutes of any outfield player, which she's not been in the best form of her life this season. But when you're playing in that many competitions, that many games,
she also hasn't had a break. Yeah,
exactly. She hadn't had a break, and then Serena played her in the England games as well. But yeah, I think as Chelsea fans, we do tend to. I don't really do this, but as a fan base, everyone tends to be a bit harsher on the players. And it's not like the Leah Williamson thing where it's like, but she's Leah Williamson, she's allowed to make a mistake.
It's basically because half the Arsenal fan base fancy her. It's pretty taxed.
I mean, it might be
I know we're not really allowed to say that, but it is the case.
Paul's like, I'm going to say it anyway. No, I think there's definitely a rose tinted version of it because, it's funny to say, Arsenal fans are crucifying Manu because of all these goals because they're refusing to acknowledge that there might be any issues with the players in that back line as well. And yeah, I agree to that. To that concept.
Definitely.
But I also agree here. Leah hasn't been the same since injury. A lot of players aren't. It's just
nobody really wants to mention that.
No, we've said it a few times, but yeah, on the whole, no one really says it. But it's just it's a shame. Yeah, because if you think about Leah in the Euros and that whole aura that surrounded that team was something else, wasn't it? But yeah, it's just not coming together for her.
I think if I were Arsenal this summer, I would make a centre back a priority.
Okay.
Like,
what, and like push her for that role?
A proper elite centre back. Because they missed out on Germa, so they need maybe someone like Vanessa Gilles from Lyon or something like that, because Gilles is on loan at Lyon and is going back to the WSL.
And we do like Gilles, yeah. And
just to bring in someone who can give confidence in Arsenal's defence again, because they don't look like a confident bunch, and nobody is really saying this because it's Arsenal and they're not getting, and they are the media darlings.
Oh, that's true. I have to say, Arsenal's media is incredible, and there's loads going on there. But yeah, it starts to become a bit. It goes away from the football, doesn't it? And it's about something else entirely. And
it's not even the club media. It's the fact that a decent chunk of women's football journalists are Arsenal fans. See Susie Rack, and that famous Izzy Christensen quote, and that whole thing means that they don't get scrutinised in the same level. They could get humped 8 or 9-0 by Barcelona. It'll be like, oh, well, they did really well to get there.
It's the taken part that counts.
Whereas Chelsea got beaten in the final by Barcelona, and all the focus was on how disappointing it was that Chelsea didn't turn up, as opposed to the fact that this was the same Barca team that was just becoming to be incredible.
Yeah, it's all the different narratives, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. But yeah. So yeah, it's 4-3. So they did ultimately win, and they did ultimately secure their second place. But questions do need to be asked. What's going to happen with the squad? We found out that they are letting Tia Goldie, Lena Hurtig, and Amanda Ilstedt go. They're the only 3 that have been announced so far. Everyone pretty much had already assumed they were going anyway. So this was just a formality, but they got a nice send off at the Emirates. But yeah, for Man United to get back into it, I think I had made a couple of notes. The fact that there was a lot of emphasis on a rare Fallon Tullis-Joyce error as well shows how good she's been throughout the season as well. But it then wasn't really an error because she did go out to the ball and took a deflection, but never mind. But yeah, shows how good she's been. Clinton gave away the penalty. I know Matthew, I think, was saying earlier, why was it a penalty when I think Ford fouled her and then went down? And it was so physical. It was great. So as a neutral, it was a brilliant one to watch because it was so feisty. Kim Little, though, her goal was incredible, that fourth goal there.
Arsenal are really going to miss Kim Little when she eventually
does. So much.
That's going to be a era-defining retirement, potentially, if they can't find someone to do her job.
Think younger fans as well who may have only seen Kim Little like the last season or so, because I've heard people say, oh, why she's old now, she's washed up, she's this, she's that, and I'm like, do you know who that is?
That really annoys me in general, just this whole thing of they're washed at like 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
Having a bad season, like, really?
It's like, oh, come on. But it was just, what a ding-dong indeed, if you haven't seen those highlights. can confirm 5 minutes, 5 minutes and 10 seconds of the highlights. So a good little chunk if you want to catch up. Right then, we'll come to me. Why not? Villa, 5 wins in a row. Never thought we'd be saying that. Never thought we'd win 5 games, never mind 5 in a row. But we did. We won 3-1 against Brighton. Final game of the season at Villa Park. It was 3-0 right until the final moments. And you just think, just wanted a clean sheet. All I wanted. Literally all I wanted. But it was Nikita Paris. Of course, it was Nikita Paris in the 4th minute of final stoppage time to get one back for Brighton.
Yeah, what's it like conceding a late goal, Freya?
Oh, well, the drama, I tell you about it. You know what's nice, though? Keeping a lead, taking the lead, keeping it and winning a game. It was fantastic. So yeah, I'll be quick. But yeah, New Brighton were going to be tricky. They always are. But they've had obviously they announced player departures. Maybe they weren't going to be in their right state of mind. But we thought, you know what? We've got this confidence now. We've got 4. We've got 4 in a row. Why not make it 5? Ebony Salmon has had a fantastic second half to the season. We've talked about it before. Her pace just straight through the defence for 1-0 in the opening 5 minutes. And you think, is this going to be another nice game? This is going to be great. And Adjuman, of course, really close to the equaliser, like millimetres away. Sabs had to be really quick for that one to catch it. Lovely ball in from Katie Robinson. She hasn't done as much as I thought she would, hasn't impressed as much, but like quietly been in the squad. So no standout moments, but this one was actually really, really nice. Lovely ball in from Katie Robinson, found Chastity Grant in the box, but cut it back for Rachel Daly for 2-0. And you just think, I've completely forgot. What's Brighton goalkeeper's name? Why is that gone out of my head? Bagley. Bagley. Apologies, Sophie. But yeah, had to be really on it. Stop Daly getting a second because she was so close to doing it. Maz Pacheco, one of the 4 announced Villa are losing. There is a petition, by the way, if you'd like to keep Maz Pacheco at Villa. There's over 350 signatures now. If you would like to add your name to the list, because we all thought Maz loves the club love her. What's going on? Why haven't they offered her a new contract? So this was her swan song, essentially. So all game, it was get the ball in front of Maz. You thought that's the gameplay. And in the 74th minute, she finally got it. She got her final goal for Villa after she'd been denied a couple of times. The ball came into the box. I can't remember who it deflected off, but it just didn't fall right. And then Sarah Malin, also back from injury, just set it up perfectly, and Maz ran onto it and absolutely belted it into the back of the net. It was fantastic. And you just thought, this is how it's meant to be. And the roar, I've got some videos from people who were in the stadium, and just the roar from the crowd when she scored was insane. And, you know, we talked a bit about managers and how you've really got to be patient and not just be like, oh, you haven't won in a couple of games, you're out. And you know, Natalia coming in so late in the season, having so much to do in so little time. I mean, who'd have thought that, just looking at this table, who'd have thought Villa would finish 6th? 6th, right? When they were in 11th for pretty much most of the season. And the fact that the points difference between 10 points and then 20 being the next lot, it just shows you that investment again needed coming up from the Championship or WSL 2. But again, it's the difference between Chelsea on 60, Arsenal 48, United 44, City 43 to 28 to 20. There's just the top 4 and everyone else. But the fact that Villa finished it on 5 out of 5 was incredible. Buyings was class. Yes, absolutely. Reports were Maz only found out on the Saturday she was going. They told her that she wasn't getting a new contract and then playing on. It would have been the Friday. Would have been the Friday because they played on the Saturday, didn't they? So not good at all. And you just think, well, if that's how Villa leave it, and there was a comment there. It was from Matthew earlier on. If Villa can start the next season as good as they ended this one, they could be a dark horse for next season. Now, we're not going to get too excited because do you remember when we had a really good season after Rachel Daly won the Golden Boot? And then it really didn't work. It really didn't happen. So, yeah, we won't get too excited, but what a way to end the season. Rosie will come to you. Do you want? I tell you what. Do you want to go back to Chloe and you have your crisps?
You can come to me.
Okay, thank you. So Rosie, we already knew Chelsea had won. I mean, look at the points difference we knew for a couple of weeks now. However, they still wanted to finish on a high, didn't they? But Liverpool, it was pretty tough. So talk to us about this one, please. So
firstly, obviously going into the game, we'd already won the league, but there was still stuff to play for. 60 points is the highest any team has ever finished on in the WSL.
Yep.
Just saying. So it was, we wanted to get that 60 points, wanted to stay unbeaten, and also Hannah Hampton needed a clean sheet to win the Golden Glove. And I saw that in her performance. I saw that she wanted that because there was one, I don't know who specifically made a mistake, but one of the defenders made a mistake and Hannah really shouted. And
Good.
I've seen that more from Hannah Hampton, that kind of like fire that goalkeepers have when they're shouting at the defence. Yeah, it was still like stuff to play for. And it was kind of a boring game. As far as like my match reports go, that's a common theme. But
you can make a story.
By the 80th minute, we were like, is this going to finish in a draw? Because as fans, we were all still singing and we were having a lovely time. Yeah. But we wanted that 60 points, obviously. So, yeah, I think, to be honest, I wasn't really paying attention much to the game. But it was like, there were a few...
So hang on, were you just there for the vibes?
Of course
I was.
Of course.
Glitter on your face, you had your wristband. There was a band outside.
Oh my gosh, did you see the what's it called? The banner. I heard someone call it a crowd surfer, but like that big banner.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that was gonna happen. So literally so at Tottenham I missed the Guard of Honour. You know how they gave a Guard of Honour? Oh my goodness, my voice. It's still recovering from the game. But they gave Guard of Honour and I missed it because the security guards were faffing about with my food and making me throw it away. Which I didn't. I ate it all. Anyway, that's not the point. And then at Liverpool I missed the Guard of Honour because they threw a banner in my face.
Oh, you were under the tifo then?
Yes, I wanted to see it. Like I had to kind of peer over. But it was
I read that was the first one ever at a women's match.
Yes, and none of us knew what was going on. But yeah, it was quite funny. Like it was entertaining.
Was it an official club one, or was it like Chelsea supporters group who decided to?
It was a collaboration between the supporters group and the club, I believe.
Because those things are expensive.
Yeah. There was something about it on the Chelsea website, but I didn't read that clearly. Anyway, in terms of the actual match, let me get up some stats for you.
Good. Because Paul, Chelsea have got money enough to raise for a TIFO.
That's what it is. No, it's the problem is clearly that Chelsea are spending too much money on tifos. They're showing up at the clubs. They should stop spending money on such expensive tifos and just.
How dare they? When clubs like Crystal Palace can't afford that. So Chelsea had 13 shots on target, which as far as Chelsea go isn't a lot. 13 shots.
Hold on.
Hold on. 19 shots on target isn't a lot for Chelsea. Pardon? It's like
13 shots isn't a lot.
No, 13 shots.
4 on target, which also isn't a lot. Chelsea's attack has been questionable this season. Anyway, Liverpool had 6 shots, 1 on target. Chelsea had 68% possession, so it was a confident showing. They just couldn't put it in the net. There was one moment when Sunday Baltimore. It was like, I think it hit the side, but from where we were sitting, it looked like it went in. So we all celebrated. And then it didn't go in. But yeah, Aggie Jones loves scoring against Liverpool. I think she scored in our last, how many? I need to write these stats game. But definitely the last few times we played them, Aggie scored. So thank you, Everton, for that one. For instilling that Liverpool hatred in her.
You're so welcome, babes.
Can I just ask, according to this lineup, Lucy Bronze and Niamh Charles were playing really high up. Were they?
Yes.
With your head in your hands, I'm assuming it was awful.
No, we kind of looked at the formation and went, is this a back three or a back five, or have we got wing backs going on?
Yeah.
Didn't really know, but I don't think that it worked out. So it was a back three with Lucy and Niamh as wing backs, but it just didn't work. Like, they were playing a bit too forward, and then it wasn't.
It doesn't work because if you play Lucy Bronze as a wing back, she forgets the back bit of it.
She just wants to fly like the WSL logo, okay? That's it. She just wants to get away.
I don't want to do that formation again. But, like, why not experiment? Because we've literally won the league already, so might as well.
It was a free shot, wasn't it?
Exactly. If it works, it works, but it did not.
I would just like another stat to add in. Villa top of the form table with 5 wins in 5. Just saying. Thank you very much. But yes, Chelsea, blah blah blah, champions, blah blah blah. But yeah, no, it did look really fun. Lucy Bronze on karaoke and getting wrapped up in the banner.
Oh my gosh!
She has the best times at these things. Like that's why.
The rope thing was making me nervous. It is like see the videos. It's time to turn the massive banner.
I just love to be inside her head sometimes.
It wasn't going well because players were getting hurt, and I was like, guys, we've got an FA Cup. But it was nervy.
Yes, it's the FA Cup. Tony says that whatever Sonia was trying out for the first half was working to can't start Liv Smith. Working but awful. And hey, working but awful but still gets you the points. That sounds pretty good to me. Right. Looking at the time then. Right, we've got 2 more games. We will get through them and then we will let everyone go to bed. Chloe, we'll come back to you. Man City 5, Crystal Palace 2. And it looked like Palace could have had a little bit of a shock win, couldn't they? That could have been a good end to their WSL reign. So yeah, take it to this one, please.
Could have been great. I mean, they only had 2 victories all season. So going into this one, it was like, could they, couldn't they? And we also know City are struggling at the minute with injuries. And I mean, they've only got 7 players left to compete in the World Sevens. So, and 2 games in one day, they are not going to cope, man. Like, that is just absolutely ridiculous.
It's okay because there's a VIP cabana at the side, so they just have cocktails in between and just chill. It's for the vibes.
Yes.
It's for the vibes.
Yes, have we got happy vibes? So yeah, I mean, to be fair, Leia Alessandri, who is leaving, which is very, very sad. But I'm more sad that we're not going to get to hear her name butchered anymore in a really selfish way because the various ways of pronouncing it were just
fantastic.
Were fantastic. It was just too good. So we're gonna miss that, and we're gonna miss her. But it was a shock start for the visitors, shall we say, because they took the lead in the 4th minute through Ashley Worden. Her finish was lifted over the keeper, and Leia Alessandri just couldn't get anything to it. But that advantage only lasted for about 13 minutes because Carolyn pounced on the ball and just fired it straight past Shayanis. If you've not seen the pounce, it was quite a good pounce. I mean, Carolyn has been literally...
Good use of the word pounce. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
I quite like it. Oh.
I'm trying to use new words.
Chloe's word of the week.
Yeah.
We can decide whether it's kick or cringe.
Yes.
As Tom Gary follows me on Twitter now, I've got to try and be a little bit professional and use big words.
Pounds.
Like pounce. Pounce is a big word for me. I can't spell. But so then Crystal Palace got another one back and regained the lead through Katie Stengel, who did very well to set up Millie Gage and just shot home from inside the penalty area. Lauren Hemp, who we know is back in the England squad, she has just come back from injury. Alice Greenwood is also back. So City are getting those key players back. She has an effort ruled offside. Gilles Roord hit the post. Caroline had 2 incredible chances. And then Gilles Roord finally got that goal and made it 2-2 after a rebound from Caroline. But to be fair, City improved with time and they started to look threatening towards the Eagles. See, we're very with the flow is flowing today. Look at her go.
Yes.
Keep doing this, guys. They were looking a threat every time, and then Rebecca Knack, who has also come back from injury, right place, right time. It's quite amazing how many have come back from injury just in the last game. Got to get themselves ready for World Sevens. Oh, sounds like a rugby term that. They took the lead through Rebecca Knack header. Is it really a City game if she doesn't produce a header? And then Caroline got her second goal, and she got on Abba-Fegino. They're good. Now we're just going to butcher it because it's going so well, and then she can't say a name, so it's going to go. De Abba-Fegino. She has been also very good. I'm just going to whisper the names because you can't say them, and just slaughters the ball past the keeper. But to be fair, Gino had another effort, and the Palace keeper did incredibly well to stop it. But then Rebecca Knack got another goal, and it was another header straight into the net. This could have been Cushing's last WSL game, could not, but to be fair, he came in halfway through the season, no players, all injury. He had his first game was a Champions League game. He has done incredibly well in his second spell. If this was his last WSL game, then he can take pride in knowing what he has done for City, and they could have been bottom of the table instead of fourth. So he has done quite well, and yeah, it was a decent match. And just to end, I've got a fun little stat because I love stats.
Chloe has stats.
I love stats. I really do love a stat. In the final 6 matches of the season, Crystal Palace conceded 25 goals just in the last 6 games.
An average of 4 a game. Ouch.
Wow. Yeah. No.
Did you see that ludicrous display last night? Honestly. To just drop it. I'm just trying to hit the vibes and the culture here by making mid-2000s cultural references. That's going on with that one.
Yeah, but the fact that Smerod's leaving after 10 weeks is just... Did you see he said, it's because I want Palace to be able to rebuild and restart and with someone new. It's like...
Way to back yourself there, fella.
Yeah. I couldn't make it work. I'm walking away. I'm not going with this ship. So I bet Laura Kaminsky is fuming that they pushed her out and got someone in for 10 weeks for them to leave again. But yeah, awful stuff.
As someone said in the group chat, maybe they need to give us some Spenny chocolates and see if she'll come back.
Yeah, I said that.
I knew it was you. I wondered if you recognise your own quote.
It was me about Spenny chocolates.
I just enjoyed the word Spenny for expensive. I was like,
yeah, get the posh chockies out. Yeah, we're really sorry. Have some proper posh chockies.
Get your Thornton's Continental, but the proper selection pack. You can tell the proper working class down if I think Thornton's Continental is popular.
I know. See, I went with Hotel Chocolate. That was my first thought of them.
Green and blacks, just a big bar of green and blacks. Other chocolates are available.
Can't beat a Thornton's Continental. We love it. Rosie, any thoughts on Chelsea not going to the World Sevens? Are you bothered?
Thank God.
Yeah, give the players a break.
Yeah, it's a nice tournament for clubs that haven't had many games recently, or clubs that need the money because it's a lot of prize money.
But Chelsea don't need it. Don't worry. Chelsea have all the money.
All those poor struggling clubs that can't invest as much as Chelsea, like Manchester United and PSG, and
So I think, well, both of them haven't been in the Champions League recently, at least.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that they should have more games. But it's also with international players. I don't think it's a good idea right before the Euros. Like, are we really sending Lauren Hemp and Alex Greenwood to Portugal to play in a little tournament? Like,
they're definitely getting injured, aren't they?
Well, because it's sevens, then I think players can choose whether they go or not, and whether they can make themselves available. So in the best possible sense, I don't think the first team players are going to be going. I think it's going to be your decent and young players that are going to be going. I don't think it'll be.
It's tough, isn't it? Because I'd set, unpopular opinion to literally everyone, but I think they're still managing minutes. I think that would be a good tournament for them to go to just get, like 20, 30 minutes in the bank and keep working on the building.
Because they are 15-minute halves, aren't they? So it's not like a game.
And they're still and they're still building up that fitness level, and because they're still not, I still don't think they're playing like 90 minutes. So I think it would be a good opportunity for them just to play like a 50-minute half, keep building that stamina, so they're ready for the big games with England, and also making sure they're fit for the Euros. But I also get the point of don't send them because they're coming back from injury. So it's one of those where it's like devil on the shoulders. Who'd you pick?
Can't wait for Mary Earps to take out Lauren Hemp when she saw a goal rushing out in classic Earps fashion, and then everyone feels really awkward. Both of them.
It's like, oops. Anton saying that the prize money will be huge for transfer window shopping. Yeah, it's millions, isn't it? The prize pot. It's an incredible amount. Right, final game then, and then we'll let everyone go to sleep. Paul, we're coming back to you, because we have another ding dong. Leicester 4, West Ham 2. Now, I watched a bit back and it looked, I don't know, was it as sloppy as it looked on both sides?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It was a classic. It was a classic. The standard was crap, but it was great because goals.
Yeah, fine, yeah.
And Janice Kamen scored after 9 minutes. Hannah Kane did something that wasn't being in a relationship with Willie Kirk to get into the news, scoring 2 goals after 35 and 59 minutes. I wasn't looking then. Did I get a win?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
But she scored twice, and then arguably the most underrated striker in the WSL. I know we keep picking this because there's loads of them, but for those of you who are picking an underrated 11,
yes,
Viviana Say might be a good choice.
Yes.
Up front. Robbed of goal of the season, by the way, as well, in my opinion. And West Ham would be down in the middle reaches of the Championship if it hadn't been for her the past few seasons. And she scored twice, 57 and 63 minutes. So we're back to 3-2 and everything's interesting. And then Sam Tierney decides to score a very, very rare goal for her.
Yes.
I do remember when there was talk of her around the fringes of the England squad a couple of years ago when Leicester first came up.
Yeah.
And then it kind of faded away because they realised she was a good left back, but she's probably not among the best 3 English left backs. And it was a very end of season game. Like, it was 2 teams that didn't have anything to play for and couldn't really climb the table particularly.
Yeah.
And you got more of a sense of that from West Ham. They were just kind of like, yeah, this is a fixture we have to pick. Leicester at least had the motivation of being at home for the final game of the season.
Yeah. And being able to actually break that 20 barrier. Because without it, they still would have been in the teens, wouldn't they? But yeah, we said last week, we know the top 3, we know the 4th place. but between 5th and 11th, it was anyone's game. And we are proven right. So
Spurs finishing 11th though. Bobby Vills is Chloe might have been the last journalist to interview Bobby Vills at this rate.
Yeah,
because there's lots of talk about him, his position being reviewed, as it were.
It was not a good. Did anyone see what the WSL channel put out? And it was the team's positions through the season. And you just remember, like, Brighton and Spurs were like right up there at the beginning, weren't they? And you just think, again, how when you know you can perform like that, and we've had it with Villa, you know they can perform up there, and yet all is happening. It's going downhill. Yeah,
we were right at the bottom for up until like October. No, I think it was December. Like we're right at the bottom until December, and it's like, oh, we get relegated.
And that's the thing. So many teams have danced with relegation this season.
I do love how you're going to have like almost mirror things, because you're going to have Villa and Everton like, and then you'll have like Spurs just going. Like,
yeah, absolutely. But the difference in those points is just mad. And like you said, with Palace conceding, they finish with a -45 goal difference. But like Leif said in his leaving statement, it's a time to rebuild, a time to get everyone together and think, right, okay, that didn't work out this time, but we'll go for it again next season, where they will be a full 12-season team in the Women's Championship, because it's not WSL2.
Possibly.
We'll see. I do think Birmingham City are going to really go for it again, though, and hopefully we'll see them in WSL 1 next season. Right then, we have come to the end of the show, slightly longer than usual, but we just had so much to talk about. We did have a little game to play, but I'll keep it for next week, so you're just going to have to come back. Now, remember, we are going to be putting some polls up to vote for our end of season awards, and we need your suggestions as well. So you can tag me, you can tag well, preferably tag me, because I'll be making the stuff, but the pod account as well. So we need iconic moment of the season. This can be funny moment, cringe moment, kick or cringe. It could be anything, as long as it was memorable and iconic. Think Christy Mewis in the corner flag, like that kind of thing. That's what we want for icon. We want who you want to see in your underrated starting 11. We want underrated WSL and Championship player and goalkeeper of the season, and also which manager was underrated as well. So
Right.
I don't know who Chloe's picking. I can just hear something buzzing in the background. I can't go here. But yeah, so get your thoughts in. You can put them in the chat, but sometimes it doesn't reappear. So the best thing to do is get us on Twitter and let us know who you are voting for. The polls will be up. I'll have a chat with our wonderful magician Sam, and he'll get something sorted for us. So thank you so much to everyone for watching and listening as always, and getting involved. We absolutely love it. And we will be here again next week. But before we go, Chloe, it's been lovely. Where can people find more of you, please, if you'd like them to?
So if you want to see more of me and my big Go Journo notes, because that's why I'm now a journalist, guys.
That's you now. Yeah.
That's me. Only won at Everton the other day, so that counts me as a big wig. I am at ChloeBear529 on all socials.
Wonderful. And Rosie, lovely to see you with your new plant. Where can people find you, please, even though you've already done a plug?
You can find me at RosieDawson_14 on Twitter, and RosieDawson.14 on Instagram and TikTok.
Wonderful. And finally, Paolo, where can people find more of you, please?
You can find me pointing the wrong way at Paul W Radio, and you add the little blue sky thing at the end if you're on blue sky.
Fantastic. I'm just taking pictures of people's comments so I can add them to the list. And yes, if you want to find more of me, I'm at T for a T Writes, usually tweeting about 50 million football matches at once. And that's across all socials as well. Remember, you can follow the podcast. I haven't got the graphic. I knew I was forgetting something at the bottom.
Just the panic. Well, you can use the new ones or the rebrand. Surely they'll work.
Hey. So we are now across 4 nights of the week. I know it says 3. This was quick. So Monday and Thursday, remember we've split the non-league and lower league shows. Tuesday is still Premier League, and Wednesday, of course, is women's football. And we know most of you already do, have already liked, followed, loved, subscribed. Remember, you can be a member as well, and you can get access to really cool emojis and things like that. And it also helps us as a pod to grow as well. So you can find us at Absolute Ball Pod on Twitter, Absolute Football Podcast on YouTube, and the same on Twitch, at Absolute Football Pod on TikTok, and the same with an underscore on Instagram. Blue Sky at Absolute Football, and Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast as well, of course. Now, so we will wrap that up. Good night, everyone. Have a lovely sleep. And we will see you next Wednesday at 8:30-ish. So thank you very much. See you and good night.